we have a lot of users above, let's say, 50 years old and under 30. The computer is no longer the main device. The main device is the phone. So whatever you are doing needs to fit in a phone. I mean, the user, it's not like they don't want, they don't have it. I mean, like no longer the computer is in the house. And that's happening more and more often.
Win all in, play my cards right. Up the ante, one blackjack all night. Roll the dice, let it ride. Water the odds, I got snake eyes.
This podcast exists because of the team at CASCM. At CASCM, we make content creation enjoyable. We are on a mission to help leaders create content that will improve lives, content to be proud of, content that fosters community. We know through firsthand experience how content brings people together, and we love helping make that happen. We produce podcasts, short form videos, blog posts, and other written works, while also providing support in website development, social media management, and strategic planning. And we would be excited to help you. Visit cascm.com to learn more, or feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Do you feel like with your company and being a startup and kind of being in that space, that San Francisco is still a place to have a presence? I mean, obviously, if you're spending time there.
Well, I mean, I think you can manage everything remote.
Yeah.
I think being here for a month is being productive. I mean, it's not like it's been a waste of time. It's not like that.
Right.
I mean, lots of connections, nice people, understanding the market, everything. But I don't know if it makes sense to be permanent here. I mean, you can make the connections, and if there is a face-to-face meeting in person, you can take a plane, come here, do it, come back. That's it. There is no...
Got it. Yeah. Well, it's a good place to start this chat with is you just talked about you can work remote, right? And I believe ChatWith is supporting the freelance economy in many ways, right? Supporting a lot of small businesses, entrepreneurs. It could be different, larger businesses as well. And to be able to do business anywhere. Like you can be in Madrid, you could be in San Francisco, you could be in Charlotte, North Carolina, you can be in London, England, wherever. And the future of work and the freelance economy is a big topic of conversation right now. Like we used to go to college, you'd come out, you would get a job, you'd work in that job, and things have changed rapidly, and they're changing even faster than ever before. Is that where you saw like this huge opportunity to say, there's a lot of people out there that are doing amazing things, and we want to build a platform that's going to support that type of worker that might have multiple gigs or a business that they're building, bootstrapping from the ground up?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we focus on. I mean, we focus on micro companies. When we say macro, is 1 to 5 employees. That's the segment.
Okay.
And the service category. I mean, we don't do much e-commerce.
Yep.
We focus more on service or, custom made or tailor made or under demand, etc. So, I mean, can be a product, but it's going to be your product. No? So that's the focus we have.
Yeah.
And I think there are more chances to find good customers, everywhere.
Yeah.
Than in your city, town, avenue, etc. I mean, you are maybe an amazing artist doing amazing t-shirts, and maybe your customer is in Colombia, another in Italy, another in Indonesia. So
it's everywhere.
Yeah. And, with Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, that's more normal every day.
It's interesting because if you look at what the universities have done, I mean, you could be creating this in high school if you so desire, right? And not to say that's the direction. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons for college, right? So this isn't a podcast about why not to go to college and go start your business. And you can use widgets on WhatsApp to build out your business, which you can. But it opens us the opportunity to have these conversations around, there's just a lot of different ways to get to it nowadays, where you needed the middle person and you need to get access to that person. And necessarily now you don't need that, right? Because you can go create it yourself and you can have a direct to consumer approach where you don't have to go through a third party platform. Doesn't mean like the Amazons of the world aren't going to exist and that would actually be a good part of your business as well. But when I say all that, like what comes to mind for you?
No, I mean, obviously, Etsy, Amazon,
right?
Shopify. Shopify is the other.
Shopify, yeah,
is the
yeah,
other big
yep.
one. I mean,
Sure.
obviously, those are amazing platforms. I mean, those are excellent platforms. But I think those are good for a phase 2, a stage in your project. I think phase 1
Got
is
it.
like, hey, I love doing this. I don't know if it's a good product. I don't know if I have market fit. I don't know if I.
Yeah.
What we suggest is, hey, let's put your WhatsApp out there, chat with your customers, understand if they like it, if they don't. And it's the fastest, easiest way to prove if it's good or not.
Yeah.
If you have market fit or not. And you're going to waste maybe a week, maybe a month, and that's it. And it's going to be super fast to understand, hey, this is something people love, but the pricing is not right. Or I need to consider shipping costs, or I need to consider other sizes, or I need to
Sure.
consider other whatever. And, in WhatsApp, what we love about WhatsApp is the real conversation. Email is not, that, hey, how you doing? What is this about? Can you send me a photo?
Yeah.
It's not that, real-time engagement. No, email is something else.
Yeah.
Phone calls, obviously, I mean, if you are under 30, you don't know what's that already.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's gone.
Yeah.
So, messaging and, WhatsApp, we think is a fantastic channel for, anyone to just at least understand if there is a market for you out there.
Yeah. With WhatsApp, one of the things I was thinking of as I was researching your company ChatWith is it could become a lot to have this personalized engagement with the consumer. But as you're talking about it, it's starting to make a little bit more sense. And correct me if I'm wrong, and you can explain the product some more. But if you're looking to buy, we'll use your example of a t-shirt. I make amazing t-shirts and do designs on them. And you come across a landing page and you're like, I'm interested. All of a sudden, you could be interacting with me or someone on my team and having a conversation about it. And we might get into the different colors or the sizes of the material or what have you. I was thinking maybe a lot of these conversations could be automated as well. But if it's at the beginning process, it might not have to be automated where you actually are having that direct to the creator of the product, or at least the creator's team, right? So you're nodding along. Is that the concept that you guys are building to where you can engage with me directly?
Yeah, exactly. The same.
Okay.
Automation is phase 2. Like, hey, you are starting, don't go crazy into the process.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy into automation because, I mean, there is no one out there. So, focus on your first, your second, your third customer. Like, hey, what do you need? When do you need it? How do you need it? I mean, for example, there is a category that is very popular on WhatsApp, and it's cakes. Cakes, bakery.
Yeah.
We don't know why, but it's there.
It is what it, yeah.
And we chat with the customer like, hey, why you use WhatsApp for that? And it's because there is a lot of personalization in the product. When you order a cake for a birthday or for a party, maybe you want, this big, we are 20, I don't like chocolate, I prefer. So there is a lot of, requests, and in a phone call, it's crazy. On email, it's a never-ending loop. In WhatsApp, it's very fast. I can send you some photos, and, hey, this is working. People like it. To make an order, this complex is a nice channel for the user, for us.
Yeah.
Because the qualification of the client is very fast. Like, hey, we can do it or not. It can be done by tomorrow or not. So it's going to be a very fast process for, both ends. And that's it. And, hey, this is working. We have a market fit. Okay, let's think about automation. Let's think about, Amazon. Let's think about payments. Let's think about something else. But first, I think you need to focus on your clients, your product, and check if there is a real market for you.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you bring up cakes. My wife being gluten-free, right? So we found someone locally, and it was on Instagram. And so we would have direct messages on Instagram, which it worked. We figured it out. There was phone calls, and we moved to text message. Next thing you know, so you have 3 different platforms right there that we're talking to this person on. And it becomes complicated. Then you go back and say, oh, we really liked the first cake. We want to do it again. Where did we chat with them? Where did this take place? And so I could see it having a centralized location that is more user-friendly and friendly actually for the business. So it's friendlier on both sides. And then to have that one-on-one conversation, you'd be like, okay, well, they're also dairy-free, like, or they can't have nuts, and everyone's going to have a different thing that they need for that, whether it's a t-shirt fitting size to the cake and whatnot. Okay, so I just bring that example up because it like hit home with me to say I've engaged with businesses on that side. When you're moving up to stage 2, stage 3, and you're developing your business, is ChatWith still involved with it, or are you graduating them to a different product? It would have made sense that you all, because I see you have the different landing pages and you have the links that you can have for credit cards. They can stay with you and they can scale their business up even if they just got started with their t-shirt or cake company, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, when you start to grow, probably you move to Haspot, Toho, Odoo,
Okay.
I don't know, maybe even Salesforce. So, we may do some parts of the process. Maybe we are not your main tool, but of course we will help you. I mean, we have nice integrations with Haspot, Odoo, Salesforce, etc. So we can still be part of your process, but maybe we are not, the...
So you are truly in people, we talk about this, right? Niche, right? That is building your business. Now going back on your side of it, as you as the entrepreneur and you're bootstrapping your company and you are focused on the niche. You're not trying to be everything to everybody.
I think that's mandatory for everyone out there. I mean, you really need to, focus on one problem, one solution, one client. I mean, if you try to do 10 things at once, you're going to fail, probably 9. So, and in this case, we decide, hey, focus on WhatsApp, focus on micro companies. Of course, we are in the service category that is very broad.
Yep.
Maybe we can do something like real estate, but, we prefer to be a bit more agnostic.
Yeah.
But hey, that's it. WhatsApp, micro businesses. So super simple, super easy to set up.
Yep.
Very affordable. So that's the idea.
Yeah. So because when I look at, was it ManyChat, Twilio, they're creating, widgets inside of WhatsApp. They're doing something different than what you are doing. So you're not necessarily competing with those companies, let's say, or perhaps you are in some ways.
No, if you check the pricing, it's not a competitor. I mean,
it's okay.
Twilio is in the hundreds per month. ManyChat's the same, probably is even 200, 300 per month. I mean, we are $50 per year.
Got it. As you build this business out, there's obviously enormous upside with what you're doing. So when I look at WhatsApp, like if we just take a step back and look at the platform that you're building this on, there's a lot of different people that I communicate with overseas, in London, in Croatia, in all over the place. They're using WhatsApp. That is the easiest platform to use. And I know you talked about another podcast that it was SMS messaging was very expensive overseas, where in the US it's free.
Yes.
So WhatsApp became this big thing. I saw in 2023, stats are stats. This, who knows where they pull all the information from, but it's probably right. 9% daily active user growth in the United States. That's not a small number that 9% more people are using WhatsApp, actively using it. The platform has, I kind of look at it like in the US, we'll call it soccer, right? And internationally, it's football. I'm big proponent that soccer will grow. It has been growing significantly in the US. You bring the World Cup over here in 2026. There are trends that pointed out to me to say that sport obviously is already the biggest sport in the world. It will only continue to get bigger in the US. I'm not comparing soccer and WhatsApp, but in some other regards, this thing was built somewhere else and it's coming here. And I don't think WhatsApp is going to be like a small thing.
That's a nice comparison. I mean, it's very cool. And I mean, if you compare SMS platform with WhatsApp, I mean, WhatsApp, I think, is a much nicer environment for the user. I mean, it's more rich, it's more multimedia. You can do more things on it. It's cross-device. It's not like Android, iMessage, that type of fight.
Yeah.
WhatsApp is 2 billion users. In most countries, is the first application everyone opens, is the last application everyone opens. In some countries, the penetration is 90%. So, what I think is Facebook is going to get the job done. I think in the US, the network effect is going to help us. And in some categories, we see already a penetration of, 10, 15%, like painters, plumbers, tattoo artists, massage. There are categories where in the US, we see a nice penetration. When you see 10, 12, 15% penetration, the domino effect is going to take care itself.
Yeah, well, because it takes that second person right on the other end to also have that platform. And the more and more that just exponentially grows. So when I send it to my family to say, hey, when we're overseas, let's make sure we're all downloading. And once you've gone on it, because yeah, there's issues with iMessage without a doubt, especially at the Android to the iPhone user. It's just awful. I try to send something to my business partner. He's got an Android. I keep telling him, like, buddy, you need to get an iPhone. Let me buy you an iPhone. But he's loyal to the Android. I get it. At the same time, once you go down that path, it becomes much easier for everyone to engage with it. And then to see that the things that you can attach to it, the tools that you can bring to it are much better, right? Like, I mean, just the simple thing of, I know you can mark an iMessage as unread. That's a very, very basic example, but I got to mark the whole thread as unread. What if there's a specific thing in there? You know, there's just more you can do with WhatsApp, and there's more things added to it.
Yeah. Just in that space, the WhatsApp business application that is also free.
Yeah.
That's an amazing tool for businesses. I mean, if you are a business, you can download the WhatsApp business application. The same is free.
Yep.
You can attach a landline to that application. You don't need to have a cell phone line. You can attach a landline. So you can have two WhatsApp applications in the same device. So you can separate, business and personal use. And, I think that's a real, killer application, no? Like in the same device, I have two applications. One I know is business. The other I know is family and friends. That's a beautiful thing to have. And in the WhatsApp business application, you can have catalogs, orders. So it's a more business-oriented application.
Sure.
Apple is doing something like, I think it's called business chat, I think. But we try to, to talk with them, like, hey, can we do something? Like, no reply. Like
nothing. Yeah.
Like, we are too busy with...
Very complicated. Yeah. Those ecosystems that they've built are so exclusive, right?
Yeah.
So where do you see it? I mean, when you look at, it's funny to think like, oh, we're just text messaging. The global messaging is such a significant part of what we do every day. I mean, you just walk through an airport and just people are texting, right? Or they're messaging or they're whatever they're doing. I mean, Instagram, for as little as I like it, one of the things that it is good at is you can reach out to someone that you don't know if it's genuine, right? There's a ton of spam on these places as well. So like, aside from that part of it, the aspect that messaging is such a significant portion of everybody's life, if they have a phone, which most everybody does, that businesses will be built upon that. And that it's not only the freelancers' businesses, but it's your business and other businesses like yours that'll be significant companies that attach themselves to these types of platforms like a WhatsApp, right? Like big driver of the economy.
Yeah, well, I mean, 100%. I mean, what we say is if you are B2C, I think, messaging, if you like WhatsApp, fine, but messaging as a concept needs to be in your platform. I mean, you cannot survive. Yeah. I mean, your CRM, your systems, your notifications cannot depend only on email. You need to be able to say, hey, this is important. I'm going to send a message, a WhatsApp, whatever. I mean, that's something we do with hotels, auto dealerships.
Sure.
In the control panel, they can choose, hey, I want to send an email. I want to send a WhatsApp. Why? Because it's important.
Yeah.
If you need to, recover a payment, if you need to update the customer on some issues, WhatsApp is going to be a better channel for communications.
Yeah.
Email is good for, I need to send a PDF. I need to send something that is not urgent. Okay, so, and it's cheaper. So I do an email. But if you need something else, I think you need to consider adding that to your, structure.
Yeah.
And also, we have a lot of users above, let's say, 50 years old and under 30. The computer is no longer the main device. The main device is the phone. So whatever you are doing needs to fit in a phone. I mean, the user, it's not like they don't want, they don't have it. I mean, like no longer the computer is in the house. And that's happening more and more often.
Yeah.
People who is not a white collar worker, they work on, I don't know, a hospital, a bar, hotel, whatever. They don't have a computer at hand. What they have is this. If I need to send you a document, if I need to finish a process, I need to do it here. That's it. I don't have other options.
Yeah.
So messaging we think is very important for those users.
Yeah. You brought up email. And I think in a line somewhere you had said email is dead, right?
Correct.
It's a big topic of conversation. And you make a point, right? Because like some people will take that as like, well, email's still here, right? So it's not truly dead. But I get what you're saying, right? Because it's important to understand the difference of like people taking every word like as gospel. Email has changed because it's unreal how much spam you need to go through to find the good stuff. And it takes a lot of time, quite honestly. It's a waste of time. And you have to create different email addresses, create filters. I mean, it's an ongoing process. And once you think you fixed it, it always comes back. Like I've marked people and it comes back and it's worse than ever. So that is obviously another big thing to where you're coming from, why you see messaging as such an important thing to say, yeah, we still see email as being relevant to some degree, but overall, we have to get away from this email, which a lot of times makes me think of like the email newsletters that you see. And I get it. Emails are important. But if I sign up for your email newsletter and I now, let's say 6 months later, 6 years later, have now killed that email or moved everything to spam, and maybe I even mark your email newsletter as read, even though I didn't read it, I just don't want it to look like it's, not unopened. I just want to get it away because marking it as spam could create problems. You just stick it in a filter and you never see it. You think I read your email. I didn't read your email. I never saw your email, right? So it's just interesting to say, how important is it when I'm not even looking for it? And if I do see it, I might actually it might have a negative effect on me as, let's say, lead generation. Say, I'll never sign up for that business because you're just spamming me. You're sending me emails and I never really wanted if I happen to see it. But when I bring that up with email and go down that path a little bit for us, if you will, on what you see as, the future of communication, but directly related to email.
Obviously, email is important, but you can say is as important as broadcast TV. Everyone is in Netflix, everyone is in Amazon, but yes, there is still broadcast TV. If you have a nice newsletter, if you have a nice reach, if you have nice content, I will keep doing it. But if you want to have engagement, if you want to have a conversation, if you want to have interaction, I think it's going to be harder to make it happen inside email. I think you need to move to, maybe it's a physical event, or maybe it's a webinar, or maybe it's a WhatsApp group. But I don't think interaction or real engagement is going to happen inside email anymore. People think about email like a push channel, like you send me something, you are not expecting me to reply.
Right.
In WhatsApp or messaging, is the other way around, no?
Yeah.
If you don't reply, it's like something is happening, no? And sometimes it's like that, no? If you don't reply, it's like, hey, it's okay. Are you okay? Are you there?
Yeah.
No, like something is, no? And it's like that, no? But it's because people is expecting for you to be there, or, at least to reply in a window of, I don't know, 2, 3, maybe 10 hours, no? It's something like that.
Yeah.
So email, okay, keep doing it. I think it's good. The numbers, what I think is you need to check is your numbers. What's the open rate? What's the click-through rate? Just to consider if that's worth your time. For example, in our case, we don't do newsletters. Everything we do is mainly YouTube. YouTube is working very nice for us.
Yep.
And, content in the blog for SEO. So those are the two channels.
Those are channels that you're... Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll have a presence in the other places, LinkedIn, X, right? You'll have a presence there just in case things take off. Like what do you see when it comes to, because there's so many channels now?
Yeah, we do it. We like sharing what we do. So it's a matter of, once we do it for YouTube, we put it everywhere. But, the focus is on YouTube and content for the blog. Those are the main two channels. And the reason why was, we were trying a bit of everything, Instagram, TikTok, but at the end, the one that really worked for us was YouTube. So we decided to get rid of everything, focus on YouTube, and that's it.
Yeah. It plays back to your earlier point about having a niche, right? You having a niche in your product and how you do things, and you also have a niche in the process of your marketing on social media. You're niching out like, hey, we'll do YouTube. We can still share it out there. So it's like 90% of what you do is going to be YouTube. The other 10% looking to be scattered about. And who knows, right? There's multiple points of distribution. I think it's not a bad idea. So at least you have a presence somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I think a customer could find you, say, on a Snapchat and be like, hey, that's where I want to meet you. Okay, well, then maybe we're starting to see growth in that area. Like you said, you look at the analytics and say, hey, maybe we should spend more time in it. That, I think like you like the whole soccer to the WhatsApp growing in the United States, what you said about email as being akin to broadcast television, I think that's it. That's very well said. And I'm going to use that. I like that a lot. When it comes to a lot of this stuff, so we're now having a conversation with a person, and I don't think it's as big of a deal. So I'm getting into security and privacy, right? Because I think people are like getting more secure, but at the same time, they're more willing to share personal information, name, address, phone numbers, date of birth, credit card information than they've ever been before. I mean, there's a time you're like, oh, you can't put your credit card on there. Like they'll steal it. So at the same point, there's a lot of laws and there's a lot of concerns with privacy and security and data integrity and all that kind of stuff. I would imagine that's a big thing that you all have to focus and spend a lot of time on to make sure if this information is going back and forth between two people, that information is protected. Obviously, WhatsApp works very hard on security, but you add in a widget, an integration with these things that like what you all are doing with ChatWith, how much of the time do you spend on security and privacy?
Well, obviously, I mean, we do everything that is on, I mean, because we are from Europe, so we need to be compliant
very
with
strict
GDPR.
Yeah.
So that's like a nice, entry level for us.
Yep.
And after that, there is something that also Facebook, Meta is doing in terms of WhatsApp, and it's the verification of the business. So, I mean, and that's something we recommend to our clients to at least think about it. Not like, hey, WhatsApp offers, a few tools for your business to get verified. So if you are serious about this business, if you think this is worth your time, etc., we think it's okay to do it. I mean, it's a simple process. You need to go to the business manager. You need to input some information about your business, and Facebook is going to mark that as verified business. So it's like in Instagram, you can get the verification check. In WhatsApp, you can do the same. But as we mentioned, earlier, first, just understand if you have a business, Maybe you are trying, maybe you are learning. That's fantastic. But if you think this is moving forward, I think it's good to learn more about the platform, to learn more about the tools that are being provided. And if you think it's worth your time, you should try to get as much marks of verification as you can, Because it's going to help your reputation. It's going to help the client to be in good hands, and it's going to help everyone that is working with you.
Yeah. As far as your company is concerned, we talked about remote work before. You can be in Madrid, you can be in San Francisco, you could be wherever. You could have your team in different places. How are you all set up? How are you managing it? In remote work, it could be employees, or it could also be freelancers. So companies, we just talked to someone last week and they worked for Instagram, Facebook, Capital One, Visa, right? Huge companies had 200 people underneath them. They built a business with one employee, and actually, I don't even think that person's an employee. It's all freelance work now at this point. How are you all set up as it relates to your workforce?
Yeah, I mean, like everyone is remote. I mean, we don't have an office. We never had an office. Everyone is remote. The team is spread all over the world: Argentina, Morocco, Spain, Indonesia. So we have, people all over the place. I mean, we do contracts when we can. I mean, it's not like we don't want to hire someone, but sometimes you cannot. I mean, a Spanish company cannot hire someone in Argentina.
Okay.
There is no legal framework for that.
Okay.
You can pay him, but you cannot make a contract. So what I think, I mean, the beautiful thing about the world where we live in is like, I mean, you can find someone amazing everywhere. I mean,
anywhere. Yeah.
Ali is from Morocco. He's an amazing backend developer. Rashid, he's from Indonesia. He's an amazing front-end developer. Ernesto is from Argentina, amazing backend developer. So we have, an amazing team. We've been working together for these 3 years we've been running.
Yeah.
And it's not a matter of, where you are. It's a matter of, hey, do you like what we do? Do you think you feel comfortable working with us? You feel, that we are doing something good for the businesses out there.
Sure.
And that's it. It's not a matter of, being together that is going to make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. So we've covered a lot of different topics around all this thing. I just want to make sure that anyone that's listening to this understands ChatWith. I know we've talked about it a good bit, but what have we missed? What things do you want to make sure that it's covered in this conversation for anyone that's listening to it, whether they want to use it or understand it or know someone that should pay attention to it? Like, what's a topic to talk about?
I mean, we are a SaaS platform. We help micro businesses using WhatsApp in a more professional way. That's the focus, that's the mission. We offer inbound solutions. Inbound means the customer is going to reach you. We offer payments, bookings, and outbound tools for sending messages to your customers. So, we try to manage, as much as we can in your, let's say, marketing, sales, activities using WhatsApp.
Yeah.
We focus on micro businesses because we think it's a more underserved segment, and normally it's 80% of the economy. And just to be clear, there is a free tier. So everyone can use it. I mean, we don't ask for a credit card. You can create an account. You can start using it. It's unlimited in time. So there is no catch. I mean, there is no 14 days trial. You can use ChatWith forever. I mean, and that's what we want to help. I mean, we really want to help everyone out there if they want to try to use the tool. So that's the idea. And then it's $50 per year.
Yeah.
That's the idea. I mean, we want to help everyone out there. The free version obviously is limited. I mean, you can do a few things, not everything, but it's unlimited in time. And in leads, you can manage. In leads, you can generate. So, we want to help the guy in Nigeria, the guy in a small town in Ecuador. So, we want to help everyone.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I guess one question I want to ask too is relates to that. The end goal of this, right, is obviously to bring people onto the platform. And I'm not saying you're doing, I don't have no idea, like acquisition becomes part of the framework of like trying to onboard users, or is it more just say, hey, let's get people to use it, which they are, and continue down that process, and then we'll develop additional things from there? Do you have that thought process in mind right now, that vision?
Well, I mean, obviously, user feedback is amazing.
Yeah.
It's something that is happening, pretty much every day.
Yep.
And the input is fantastic. For example, we did bookings for WhatsApp, and the first version was a form, like 2 fields, like date, hour, and that was it.
Okay.
And, people start asking, hey, this is great, but I need this, I need that. And, we evolve the solution, and now it's pretty much like a calendar, but with WhatsApp. And it's all based on the user feedback. If we see there is traction, if we see there is usage, we add more and more and more tools on top of that.
Got it. That user feedback's huge. Okay, cool. How do people learn about ChatWith? How do they learn about you?
Well, obviously, the website, we have a WhatsApp, obviously, for contact and support. The YouTube channel, we think is where, more people learn and discover the solution. But I think the best way is to go, create an account, start working with what we do. And what we suggest is go to your landing page, go to your website, and add a WhatsApp button, and you will see the effect that generates. I mean, the CTA, the conversion is really going to help you.
Yeah, that's part of it. I think what you just said right there is huge. And no matter what you're doing, it's just testing things out, right? Just trial it out. It doesn't have to be, like you said, it doesn't have to be the forefront of your business now, but it can be, hey, just check things out and learn how to use it. No, this is amazing. César, I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope people learn more about what you're doing and about ChatWith. And I think people will download. I think we'll get another 9% growth of WhatsApp after this episode, right? Yeah. So thank you very much. In case you haven't noticed, we love podcasts. In fact, we love building podcasts, everything from development to production. Because of all that, we're building a one-of-a-kind podcast network. If you have a podcast or are looking to launch a new podcast, then we should talk. You can message me on Twitter at Eric_Kaz or hit us up any way that works for you. Let's talk about your podcast joining this one-of-a-kind podcast network.